Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another video. This is going to be the second video in my hopefully consistent part of Vlogmas. Today I'm here with a very delayed ranking of my November palettes. I was supposed to have all of this up at the beginning of December, but I had to rearrange my month just because I had internet issues. I mentioned that briefly in other videos too, but I moved, as you can see with the background, and I had issues with internet. It didn't work. So we were out internet for a couple of days, which is why I wasn't able to upload, but I'm back now and internet should be working fine. So I'm hoping to continue to post every single day of December. I'm going to jump into this video and again go through the ranking of the palettes that I used in November, ranking them by usage. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So as always, we are starting at the bottom of the palettes, and this month I have 10 palettes to rank, and we're going to start with palette in place number 10, and that is one that I only reached for once, and that is my Natasha Denona Gold palette. This is one of my absolute favorite palettes in my collection, and I rolled one of these shades into my panels eyeshadows for the last month of the year, or like the last month of that project. And I rolled in this shade right here called Kava, and I was hoping to reach for that one more, but I unfortunately only reached for it once. So one use of this palette, that is the only shade I reached for. So that is palette number 1 in place number 10. For place number 9, we are moving up a little bit in usage. We have 4 uses, and this is for palette in 9th place, and that is the Mountain Trail palette. This is a palette that I had in my Big Fat Eyeshadow project for November. I just posted the looks for those videos actually early today. It was supposed to go up yesterday, but I had again internet issues. Well, not internet issues, I had issues with my laptop and the file got deleted. So I had to re-edit it this morning and post it. So it went up around 12:30. I just noticed my background changed. So I think it went up around, no, it was 1 p.m. UK time, and this is going to go up on the same day. So you can see the looks I did with this palette, but I did one of those 3 looks in November. So this one came in 4 uses for that first look, and then again, the rest of the uses actually came in December. So this is going to make an appearance again when I rank the palettes for this month. For spot number 8, we have my Huda Beauty Gold Obsessions palette, and I used this palette 7 times. And all of those 7 uses came from the same shade, which is this shade right here. This one's in my, this one is in my Rolling Pro pan still. I'm trying to finish that up this year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it fully this year, but I'm very, very close. So that one I have used again 7 times, and it comes in at place number 9. I have not touched this black shade. I think I reached for it like once to do No Pan Left Behind this palette. But other than that, I haven't reached for that one at all. So 7 uses all came from the same shade. So for place number 6 and 7, we have the same amount of usage. So this is kind of like technically 6th place split. The first one out of those 2 is my mini gold palette from Natasha Denona. This one is also, was in my Big Fat Eyeshadow project. So I used this one there, and I was able to reach for this one 9 times. I'm really happy. I reached for all of these shades, I believe, twice or 3 times. No, I think twice apart from this one, if I remember correctly. So that would have been 8, 9 uses. That would add up. So I think everything twice apart from this one. So quite a few usage in here. I have pan on everything because I had this one in my Pot Level Up last year for level 5. So I was able to pan on every single shade, and I was happy to get some more use out of this palette in that project. And then the second palette with the same amount of usage, also in shared 6th place, is one of my Pat McGrath palettes. This one as well is was in the Big Fat Eyeshadow project, and this is the Moonlit Seduction palette. Again, 9 uses, same as the other one. This one does have 10 shades though, so you know, not the same kind of spread, I guess, as the other one. But I do believe as well I made 2 out of those 3 looks in the month of November, and then the last look I believe is in December, and that's why it's only 9 uses, because I have reached for every single shade in here apart from this one, and that would be 9, but I also know that I reached for some of these twice at least. So yeah, I must have used only 2 of the 3 looks in the month of November, so this is probably another one that's going to show up in my December ranked palettes. So another palette that was in that same project, my Big Fat Eyeshadow project, because I actually had 6 palettes in the month of November, so there's quite a few of those in here, and they're taking up the majority of the list just because I didn't get a chance to reach for much else, just because of the sheer amount of palettes in that project in combination with like my Pana palette and stuff like that. So the next one is my Natasha Denona Glam face palette. This is in the shade Light. So this one comes in place number 5, and I reached for it a couple more times in the last 2. I reached for this one 11 times, and of course I didn't track the face product, I only counted the eyeshadows. And I again think I reached for all of the shades. I think I reached for all of the shades twice, apart from in a corner. I believe I reached for that one. Wait, is that in the corner? Yeah, in a corner I think I reached for 3 times. I think that's what I did with this palette. I really did like this one. Again, you can see the looks in the video that went up earlier today, as well as the ranking. So yeah, that is the next palette coming in place number 5. So we are now obviously in top 5. So in 4th place we have another Pat McGrath palette. This one was actually not in my Big Fat Eyeshadow project, nor obviously my Panda palette, because this one is the Utopian Dreams palette. It looks like this. I absolutely love this palette. It is such a beautiful one. And the reason why I have so many uses on this one, I think I haven't said it yet, but I have 13 uses for this palette. The reason why I have it so high is because I have 2 of these shades in projects. I have these 2 special shades in 2 different projects. This one I had in my Palos eyeshadows, and this one I have in my Deco Panning. I still have this one in actually, but I only had 1 use left. So I reached for majority of them in the month of November, and then again this one I reached for quite a lot in Panos eyeshadows. So I think all of the uses that I did was from those 2, so quite a lot between 2 shades, but I'm really happy because those 2 are my favorite shades in this palette. So we are in the top 3, and for 3rd place we have the Red Dragon palette, which is, well, technically my last Big Fat Eyeshadow project palette if you don't count my Product Level Up palette, which of course is coming up. So this is the one I used the most of those palettes, and this one I used 15 times. So again, quite a few more times than the other ones. I did do all 3 looks in the month of November, which probably is one of the reasons why this one ranks so high. It also has 12 shades, so a few more shades than some of the other palettes. And I believe I reached for all of the shades in those looks, and then of course some of them I reached for more than once. So definitely really happy with that. And it is a beautiful palette, and again I did some really nice looks with this one. I really did enjoy my time with it. So this one comes in place number 3, again with 15 uses. So again, we have 2 more palettes to go, and these 2 are usually from 2 different projects. We have my Product Level Up and my Panda palette usually left in the top 2. And it's always a bit of a question which one is going to be in place number 1 and which one is going to be place number 2. But this one time is actually quite a large difference between the 2 palettes, because the palette that comes in 2nd place is my Product Level Up palette. I'm not going to show you what this one looks on the inside because I haven't posted my update for this yet. I think it's going to be the next video going up perhaps, so maybe the video tomorrow. But this is the Midnight Sun palette from Pat McGrath, like I said, and this one I've reached for 16 times in the month of November, so it is definitely much lower than some of the other months, and it's obviously only 1 point more than the palette in place number 3. So again, there was quite a big difference between my place 1 and place 2 palettes this month. So again, it was very, very obvious, but I'm happy with the usage on this palette, and you can see what the palette looks like more in my video again going up tomorrow. It does have some nice tips and some uses, so you can see that tomorrow. You can also see if I was able to hit any pans in here. This is my Product Level Up level 2 palette, just for reference. But yeah, that is the palette in place number 2. Which means that in place number 1, we have my Pan That palette. I normally show you what this one looks like on the inside, but I don't want to do that now because it's been quite a while since my last update. Normally I film this quite close to my last update, which means I can usually show you what it looks like. But this time I have used this one quite a lot, and I don't want to spoil anything before the finale of what it looks like. But this is the Soft Glam palette. It is a beautiful palette, and again it is my Pan That palette, so I usually try to have quite a few uses in here. It's definitely not my best month for this palette. Some months I've had like 100 uses or around that number, but this month it does have quite a few less than that. It has 47 uses, but compared to every other palette that I reached for this month, I think 47 is really good, and yeah, I'm really happy with that number still, even though it's not as high as I would have maybe liked. So that is going to be the last palette, and again, number 1 is my Pan That face palette. It's probably going to be the same for December, not going to lie, because I'm doing the last stretch with this palette to try to get as much as I can used up this year. Let me know if you're surprised by any of the ranking. Is anything you thought was going to be higher or lower than it was? Again, I'm going to do one last video in this series in the beginning of January for my December palettes. And then I need to decide if I want to keep this kind of ranking going for 2025, or if I want to do it in a different way, or whatever you guys want to see. So if you have any kind of recommendations or any wishes, let me know down below so I will know that for next year. But I will wrap up the video here. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.